The war on police getting worse. 33 officers shot and killed so far this year, with 2 officers gunned down in just the last 48 hours. Compare that to last year, when just 35 were shot and killed the entire year of 2017. So the big question everybody's trying to figure out, what is causing this horrific increase in violence? Our law enforcement panel joins me now. Founder of Blue Lives Matter NYC, Joey Imperatrice, former Nashville police officer Vincent Hill, and from the New Jersey Sheriff's Association, Rich Busby. Thank you all for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Let's go ahead and start with you, Joey. What do you put the blame on? Why do you think that this has increased so significantly?
I think our court system is very lax. So I think we need to have stricter penalties for people that are committing crimes. 2, I think nationwide, we need the death penalty for any officer killed in the line of duty. 3, I think mental health is a huge issue. We need to get these people help and off the streets and in a place where they're going to get better. You know, officers getting killed every single day. This is a tragedy.
Vincent, do you think this has anything to do with perhaps maybe training of police officers? Do they need better training? Is there anything else that they can be doing?
Well, Jillian, I think officers have the best training in the world. When I was on the police, I trained, we had in-service every year. I had more training doing policing than I did in the military. I think a large problem that we're dealing with is how mass media portrays police, right? For instance, if you look at the latest shooting in Chicago, it hasn't been mentioned that that officer was black. But had that officer been white, the mass media would say white officer shoots unarmed black teen. So the reporting is different on how you're dealing with police. So we have to fix that as well and bounce back from the previous administration who made police the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that, Rich?
I'd have to say I do agree with it. It's becoming worse because the media, in many cases, has chimed in on some of these messages that are not accurate. We've done a great deal of good, I think, in terms of making progress in the last few years in programs like community policing. We try to get a truthful message out to all the different communities of interest. We try to communicate on a regular basis, get the facts to the community. We even expose them to things like our training so they understand the standards to which we're being held.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere, though, Joey, I don't know if you would agree, it seems like the line of communication is failing. The line of communication between police and the community is failing right now. So how do you improve upon it?
The media villainizes officers all over. So we need to get the truth out. Just like Donald Trump gets beat up every day, so does law enforcement. Community policing is great. But the problem is that's officers constantly reaching out. We need the community to reach back out to us and meet in a 50-50 scale. That's a big issue.
Vincent, do you think that we go back to things like stop and frisk? I know a lot of people have high opinions on that. What's yours?
Well, see, when you take away policies like that, and when you look at departments that are changing most of their use of force policies, you kind of embolden criminals to actually attack police officers. A lot of those things were controversial, but they worked, right? So when you start looking at departments changing their policies to appease the community and people not understanding what the use of force continuum is, you open yourself up for that.
Rich, I would argue that as a society, we've gotten softer, right? We're always having stories, and we're always talking about stories of the PC culture and, you know, gender neutral this and that. Do you think that because as a society, some would argue we're getting softer, that means that it's changing what you guys are doing and how it's received?
I think that's definitely true. There's some of that, but I think some of the aspects of the problems that we're seeing is that young people spend endless amounts of time being exposed to a violence that we've never seen before. I have to caution my children. I have 3 teenage boys, well, a couple of them are in their 20s now, but they spend a lot of time on both social media and the gaming situation. And I think it desensitizes our society to the needs of other people, in particular the needs of law enforcement.
Vincent, before we go, last word here. What do you want people to know about the job and the life of a police officer?
It's probably the hardest job in the world, but we're still the people that would run into a burning building at any time to save a life, even if you don't like us. And we need that respect, and that's how we start to mend this bridge.
Rich, Vincent, Joey, thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it. We'll keep having these conversations until it starts to get a little better.
Well, you're going to pull those pistols and whistle Dixie.